So because of this combo, we're gonna end up taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures total from our opponents. All of these creatures are gonna gain Trample, Haste, and Annihilator 1 until the end of turn. So we would then go to attack. We would attack with the Taskmaster, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures, all with Annihilator. So our opening hand, we're gonna start with 3 lands. I put also an Awakening Zone so that we get to create Eldrazi spawns during our upkeep. We're also gonna start our turn 1 with a Soul Ring in our hand. I rarely do that, guys, but I think I have to because the creatures inside this deck just cost so much mana. We have this hideous Taskmaster that we're gonna look to combo with our commander. And then we also have a Hedron Archive for mana so that we can really ramp early. We're just gonna cut our deck over here and start the play test. We'll go into our opening hand. We'll play the command tower. And then what we'll do is we'll tap the command tower for 1 mana to play the Soul Ring. And then we'll just go ahead and pass the turn here. We'll untap and draw into a Herald's Horn, which is a really nice thing to see here. We'll go ahead and put the Herald's Horn into our hand. Let's grab the Cave of Koilos, put that land into play, which gives us 4 mana here. So we're just gonna tap 4 mana and we're gonna play the Hedron Archive, and that'll enter the battlefield. And now going into turn 3, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, which is a fantastic start. We'll go ahead and pass the turn. It's almost like I wanted that to happen. We're gonna look at Bonder's Enclave over here, which is a card that's gonna help us to draw cards. Put that into our hand, and I think we still go for the mana here, guys. I think at 6 mana, we can play this Shrine to give us 7 mana. And then I think what we do is we tap green. How about green, colorless, get the Awakening Zone into play. And now that we have the Awakening Zone into play, we can then pay 1, 2, 3 mana. We'll get the Herald's Horn into play. Herald's Horn, just so you guys know, is going to reduce the cost of our creatures by 1. And then at the beginning of our upkeep, we can look at the top card of our library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, which we're going to say ELDRAZI, we can reveal it and put it into our hand. So we're calling ELDRAZI as we play the Herald's Horn. And then we would just go ahead and pass the turn after this. Guys, generally when you're playing this deck, you will not have such an amazing start. We'll go untap, we'll go to our upkeep. Our upkeep, we create an Eldrazi spawn with the Awakening Zone. So that's gonna enter the battlefield. And then we're gonna also look at the top card of our library. That is a creature, okay? A 7 mana creature that we have the mana for. We'll reveal this to our opponent so they know it's a creature. We'll put this into our hand. And then we're gonna go ahead and draw for turn, which is a Sire of Stagnation, which is a card that can help us draw cards. So we'll go ahead and add these cards to our hand. We have 1, 2, 3 creatures over here. So what we're gonna do is play this land for turn, and then I'm gonna have to think for a second. Considering the game just started and we only have 4 lands in play, we would have to assume that our opponents have relatively the same. Getting an Annihilator creature onto the battlefield this early in the game can force our opponent to sacrifice their lands, which would be a horrifying experience, not really a friendly thing to do, but would definitely probably win us the game right now. So we're gonna play around getting Ulalek onto the battlefield and casting the Taskmaster next turn. So we'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We'll play Ulalek. I think that creature spells that we have do cost 1 less to cast over here, but I'm not sure if that affects the hybrid mana that Ulalek has, so I still have to pay the 5 mana for Ulalek. So we'll get Ulalek on the battlefield, and looking at our hand, I don't really see anything else that we'd want to really be playing here. Technically, I could tap 1, 2, and then sack this for 3 mana to tap this to draw a card. But I think we're sitting pretty with what we have right now. So we're just gonna go ahead and pass the turn here. We'll untap. We're gonna then create another Eldrazi spawn. So I'm gonna set this to 2 Eldrazi spawn that we have. And then we're gonna look at the top card of our library. which is a creature, we would then show this to our opponent. This would go into our hand, and then we would draw for turn, which is a Snapping Void Crawl. That'll enter our hand. Looking at our hand, we talked about casting the Hideous Taskmaster earlier. So what we're gonna do is go to our battlefield. We're gonna tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, which is gonna be a red mana. We're gonna cast the Taskmaster, which for each opponent, we're gonna gain control of up to 1 target creature they control. But as we cast this, we're gonna pay 2 mana here, and we're gonna copy that ability with Ulalek. So because of this combo, we're gonna end up taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures total from our opponents. All of these creatures are going to gain Trample, Haste, and Annihilator 1 until the end of turn. So we would then go to attack. We would attack with the Taskmaster, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures, all with Annihilator. This is Annihilator 6. For new players, keep in mind that Annihilator reads that our opponents have to sacrifice permanents in response to the trigger. So if I attacked one player right now, they would have to sacrifice 7 permanents on their board, essentially losing them the game. So as you guys can see, this deck has really powerful plays. I mean, just make sure that when you're playing, obviously I put the Soul Ring in our opening hand and the Hedron Archive, which really sped things up. But the reality is that you really want to make sure that you're saving up your ELDRAZI spawns so that you can get combos like this that can just devastate somebody. And you know, it's more devastating because this happened earlier on in the game, because that attack right there at one person most likely just removes their entire board state. Make sure you save up all of your ELDRAZI spawns so that when you cast your big creatures with your mana pool, you can sack ELDRAZI spawns to trigger Ulalek to then have these very powerful explosive plays. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can leave those questions in the comment section below. Always remember, everybody, eat healthy, okay, work out every single day, and most importantly, you guys got to remember to believe in yourself. All right, peace out, people.